Welcome to Cheap College Living. Today we're going to talk about where and how to get cheap textbooks. Today we're going to help you find your cheap textbooks. Now, why are textbooks so important? Well, first of all, they're required for class. You usually have to read them so that you can do well on homework and your tests. And also, they can be very expensive. So, we're going to help you find your cheap textbooks. Our first option is renting. Chances are you aren't going to use your textbook after this class, so it's probably cheaper to rent than to buy. Amazon.com is great because they have a wide selection and they have competitive pricing, so you can find the cheapest textbook to rent. Additionally, you can use an on-campus bookstore. These are great because they're close or on campus, and also they have easy pickup and return. Finally, there are other outlets where you can find cheap textbooks to rent, whether they're brick and mortar or online. Just make sure it's the best option for you. Our second option is to buy textbooks. Sometimes it is cheaper to buy than to rent. Again, Amazon.com is a great place to get cheap textbooks. When it comes to buying them used, they have a wide variety and usually you can find pretty good prices. eBay is another great resource to get your cheap textbooks used. Students from around the world have used those textbooks that you want and are willing to sell them. Also, Craigslist. Craigslist is great because there's students in your area who have taken the same classes as you and they want to get rid of their textbooks. Usually these will be pretty cheap because they know other students are going to buy them and their prices aren't going to be too high. Finally, you can buy your textbooks online. This can be in an e-version, which is usually cheaper than a published format. Just make sure that it's the best price. Did you know you could also get your textbooks for free? Your campus library has a wide variety of resources that you can utilize. Sometimes you can only go to the library to read it, but that's fine if you just need to read a chapter or do your homework. Sometimes you can actually check out the textbook for the whole semester, and that way you can use it, bring it home, and even take it to class. Finally, if some of your siblings or friends have taken the classes that you're currently taking, they might be willing to give it to you for free. Now, you can't pressure them too much, but still, it's something to try. Before we finish, there are a few things to consider before buying or renting your textbook. First of all, the edition. Sometimes you don't always need the newest version of your textbook. Sometimes you can make do with an edition that's a year, 2, or maybe even 10 years older. Just make sure you consult your professor so that you have all the necessary information that you need for your class. Finally, if all else fails and you need to buy a new textbook, consider splitting it with a friend or other students in your class. You can greatly reduce the price if you split it between 2 or even 5 people. Just make sure you have a plan beforehand so that nobody's arguing over who gets to use a textbook. In conclusion, we've talked about a lot of different ways to get your textbooks for cheap. We've talked about renting from different places, buying used, and then also getting them for free. What methods have you used to get your textbooks for cheap? Which methods are you planning on using? Comment below and subscribe to keep saving.